Welcome in, everybody. Welcome into the Coach Ty Show. Boy, do we have a spicy one today. Oh, my goodness. Mark Pope wants to hear what you have to say. I never thought I would say that. We got a lot to cover on this show. Let's get everybody in here real quick. We do have YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok live today. I'm getting everything set up. What's up, Dampton? What's going on? Hope all is well. Let's get this going. All right, we're in here. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome into the Coach Ty Show, guys. Welcome. Man, hope everyone is having a great, let me get YouTube in here. I hope everyone's having a great Cinco de Mayo. Hope you're eating tacos, drinking margaritas, or whatever whatever it is, quesadillas. I'm more of a quesadilla person, but hey, that's just me. Hey, you pick what you want. So when I started doing these shows last week, my first one was Tyron Stoke. And, it broke. Tyron was going to make his decision, and then we went live after the Tyron Stoke thing. So, it was boom. We was out. Now, before I go live, I get a hold on 1 second. I get a notification. Mark Pope has talked, and I'm like, okay, Mark Pope's talked. All right, we'll see what he's got to tweet. And he tweets out that he wants to hear from Big Blue Nation. Now, I didn't know kind of what this would have been all about per se. Like, I didn't know if it was going to be, something crazy or what. But when I get online and I see what he has to say, and then we're going to break it down. We're going to break down the Mark Pope tweet and everything here. But on today's show, we're going to talk about the roster, the negativity of the roster. Would UK actually embrace an overseas team? Then on top of that, we will be talking about, what I think about the roster, because I got a lot of pushback when I said that I think the roster is constructed better than last year's. I got a lot of pushback. A lot of people saying, well, you don't know what you're talking about, Ty. You don't know what you're talking about. And that's fine. Well, I'll break it all down why I say this roster is technically constructed better than last year's roster. But first and foremost, I just want to say thank you all so much. This channel has grown crazily. I mean, I couldn't believe how quick this channel has grown. So I just want to say thank you all. This platform, I just want to make sure that everyone has a voice. You might be right, I might be wrong, I might be right, you might be wrong, but at least we can, have the conversation. I never shy away from a conversation, even, if I don't think that you're right or you don't think I'm right, I'll always have the conversation. No Hope and Pope? Oh, Lord, already? Oh, my God. We ain't gonna start already, are we? Do we really got to start already with No Hope and Pope? Oh, Lord. Hey, put that on the t-shirt. But let's get everything going. Okay, so Mark Pope has officially tweeted out that he wants to hear from us. Now, wait a second. I didn't mean start. It says, let's go ahead and talk about it. Here we go. This is the tweet right here. It's Mark Pope tweets out, BBN, I want to talk. Drop your questions and comments. I will spend the next couple of days answering them. Now, this is exactly what he said. Let's go ahead and Let's go ahead and do this.
Big Blue Nation, it has been a busy 6 weeks, and I've missed you. It's time to talk some hoops, so drop a question below, and I'll hit you back. Go Cats.
All right. Now, I was one of the people that said that, yes, I wanted him to speak. But I guess when you ask for rain, you got to deal with the mud. I mean, it is what it is. You got to deal with the mud. So when I saw this, first, I thought this was a terrible idea. That's just me. I thought this was a terrible idea because this is not what we want. And yeah, you can say, Ty, you can't have it both ways. Yes, I can. If I want both ways, I'm going to have both ways. But I think as a PR move, this is smart because everyone has asked for Pope to talk and, the athletic department to talk. But you're going to get questions like this that I'm just like, come on now. The first one was, can you wear a body cam during your recruitment visits? Like, he's not going to answer stuff like that. We know that. He's not going to answer nothing like that. And this is where I'm just like, I'm happy that, you know. He said, well, I'm right. Read through the comments. I'm not sure. Yeah. Like, I understand where they're coming from with this. But is this going to be he's just going to tweet out people? Is he going to sit down and read them on a Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is? What is he going to do? This is where I say the lack of communication is coming with the PR stunt. Saying, drop your questions. I'll spend the next couple of days answering them. Okay, are we talking about answering them from a Twitter account? Are we going live? We don't know. I would rather him sit down and have an interview, which a lot of people say they don't want to hear it. I would rather him sit down and have an interview with, I don't care, Matt Jones, Charles Barkley, EJ. I don't give a crap who you get an interview by, because at least I know somebody's going to ask the hard questions of, hey, what is going on with the program? Now, he probably was not going to answer some of those questions, but you can tell by his body language if he slumps down in his seat or, takes a deep breath. We can at least see that. But I do give Mark Pope credit for actually putting this out, and going through the comments is just crazy. You're going to get those crazy comments. You're going to get the body cam. Let's see. How does it feel to be owned by Todd Golden? Like, you're going to get that crap. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to literally, at some point, you're going to have to sit down and actually answer some of these hard questions. Not these fools that are trolling, but literally, what happened in the offseason? What didn't work? Why did, what was your thoughts on the roster construction? Like, kind of that nature. UK should have hired Pitino and let Pope sit on him for a few years to gain more respect. I can't. What? Okay, I'll answer this. I want you to answer this. If Pitino would have came and Mark Pope would have sat there, a couple years isn't going to make a whole difference. How would you go from the head coach to go sitting on a bench? I mean, but that's totally different. Duke did that with Shire. He stepped away, and I totally understand that. But you also have to think, Shire wasn't a head coach. Where was he a head coach at? I don't think, even if he did do that, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, it doesn't do anything for him. He already had respect. You don't get 20,000 or whatever it was, 17,000 in Rupp Arena if you don't have respect. No, Chris, I totally agree with you. It is a huge step from BYU to UK. I said, we talked on this last show, I said that if you put his record, his wins and loss record, compared to anybody else, he would not be qualified off wins and loss to coach Kentucky. I totally agree with you on that. You will not hear me say one wrong. You're right on that. BYU to Kentucky is a big step. I totally agree. I just think these recruits got enough track record to respect him. No, well, I yes and no. I think it's more than that. Like, I really do believe that Kentucky is way behind the 8 ball when it comes to Kentucky's a way behind the 8 ball when it comes to NIL. And we can literally thank Mitch Barnhart and all of them for that. And it is what it is. They're way behind. No GM, nothing like that. Mitch Barnhart wanted to do it the right way, while all these others are going to the NBA and G League, grabbing all these players that can play 4 games and then get put ineligible. So yes, I really believe you're right. It is a big step. And Johnson this year hurt him. Louisville fans talk bad, and Pope has a way better. Well, I mean, that's a rivalry. That's anything. I mean, shoot, Louisville's going to talk bad no matter what. Kentucky's going to talk bad. That's just the rivalry, and that is what it is. But back to the PR thing, I don't like this. I mean, like I said, I like it, but I don't like it because now they can control the narrative of what they answer. Then on top of that, how many of these accounts are bot accounts? Like, literally, how many accounts are bot accounts that really is the athletic department throwing in questions? Because I don't want to hear, this is what I do not want to hear. I don't give a dang. I don't give a crap about the 96-98 team. No offense to none of them. I just don't want to hear nothing about that. I don't want to hear the pep talk Pitino gave you. I don't want to hear, what Converse shoe you wear. I don't give a crap. I care about this year. I don't want to hear nothing else about anything in the past. I want to hear about what's going on now and what's going on in the future. And this is where I'm scared about this stunt right here, that he's going to answer some of these questions depending on where he goes. Where he does this, I just don't like it. Like let's I mean, I'm just like sitting here actually looking at some of these the fan base is clearly worried. What would you say to ease their fears? Like, he's not going to answer that. He's not going to answer the hard-nosed questions that the people want to know. That I think if he was to sit down with somebody like I said, Matt Jones, whoever that's going to ask him, will he answer? No, he won't answer. But what's going to happen is he's going to have to face it. He's going to sit there and face those questions. Not like, you think about it like this. Let's if you're talking to somebody, it's a lot easier to text somebody than be on the phone with them or face to face. So this is the easy way out for him to be able to do this. This is Big Blue. This is the athletic the athletic directors and all of them in that area that's fanning the flames a little bit. Just, trying to calm them a little down. We've heard your cries. We want to hear Mark Pope talk. This is how he's going to do it. He's going to tweet out through an account. I don't like that. I don't. I think it is a rough step. When I saw it, I was just like, do I think it's going to work? I don't think it's going to work. I think, honestly, it's going to backfire on them. That's just what I think. I think this is going to really backfire on what he thinks is going to happen. Because like I said, you're going to have all these trolls out here that's going to be saying, crazy stuff. Then I want to see the accounts that he actually answers some of the questions. Are they going to be a bot account from, because, I mean, we all know half of these accounts on X or Twitter or whatever is bot accounts. So, Coach, I got a Hoop Dream 5937. Is there hope? Yes, there's always hope. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm right there with you. We're going to go. If they're giving bags out to people that sit on the bench, we got a hope. We got plenty of hope. Let's get it. I'm right there with you. We're gonna go do a trial and we're gonna get us a bag. I think the only thing he can do is win at this point. Yeah, no, winning cures all. It does. Winning cures all. Winning actually, let's be honest. This is something I've said to somebody, and people hate to hear this. If Mark Pope gets to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, he's coming back next year. He is coming back next year. Whether people like to believe it or not, he is coming back next year. It is what it is. He could take this team, we'll get to what I think about this team, because a lot of people really was upset about it, about what I said, and you don't know basketball, Ty, you don't, and all that crap. But I'll get to what I think. But I really believe if he gets to the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8, barring that he gets knocked out in the first round, I think this team makes the tournament. 76 teams now? This team is going to make the tournament. I mean, unless something crazy happens, this team makes the tournament, no questions. Now, if we're lower, if we're like the old school, 60-some teams, then I say no. Yo, Colm, thank you so much for the follow. I don't think they might be on the edge, but with 70-some teams, I mean, shoot. At the end of the day, middle school teams are going to be making the tournament at this point. It is what it is. Now, if people are going to be happy about it, I think we're in a weird spot, guys. We're in a weird spot with Kentucky basketball because half the fan base is just fed up. Half the fan base is happy. It's just a weird spot. It's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It just is what it is. But I think Cleveland Cavaliers, I'm all ears. LeBron runs Chris. Don't better Pistons at 6. That's a good one right there. That's a good one. I give you credit to that one. You can't satisfy half fans. No, you can't. You can't satisfy the fans either way. I mean, honestly, Mark Pope could win the championship by 1 point, win the SEC, and some of the fans will be like, well, shoot, Rupp would have won by 50. We should have did this better. Like, you're not going to satisfy everybody. And, when you're a coach, you understand that. When I was a coach, I understood that my team, some kids ain't going to play. Some kids are going to play. Some parents are going to be happy. Some parents aren't going to be happy. Some parents are going to call me and be like, hey, why is my kid not playing? And as long as I had stuff to back up why I did what I did, that's fine. As long as I know that I'm doing the best I can, I'm fine. If I know this kid's going to score 19 points a game and this kid that is on the bench is only going to score 5, I got to play this kid that's going to go. And I'm going to play this other kid a little bit more, but then you're going to have that parent mad. So you really technically can't have everything. You just can't. It is what it is. But in Mark Pope's sense, and what the fans needs to realize is all this fire, Mark Pope, get Billy Donovan in here and all this. What would Billy D do right now? Like literally, if we was to put Mark Pope out of here right now, like some of the fan base wants, and put Billy D in here, then on top of that, you would have to open the portal for those players on the roster right now. Will those players stay? Then if those players leave, then he has less of a roster than he has right now. So what would he do? What would Billy D, and especially in the portal right now with Slim Pickens? And we'll talk about the roster here in a second, about how I think that they should have a 3 and a superstar that we really don't know where it's going to come from. And I was really made shit weird for all teams. I think it's totally changed everything, because everybody that may have, think about it. Think about this. You have some of the bench players making $500,000. Just saying. You got some of the, and this is where I'm going to go with Malachi here in a second when we talk about his draft stock. When we talk about his draft stock, we'll get into that here in a second too. But I believe at the end of the day, you can't please everybody. Big Cat Covers, thank you so much for the follow. You can't please everybody. Now, I am the biggest voice because I don't care. I'm going to say what I want. God bless. I can't believe it. Big Papa, thank you for the follow. Oh, my God. I really just said Big Papa. But, hey, still love. I don't care. I don't care if the athletic department don't like what I say. I don't give a damn about what anybody's got to say, because I'm just going to speak what's on my mind. That's the good thing about being independent, because I don't have to answer to anybody but myself. And it is what it is. Big Papa, thank you for the rose. You're such a gentleman. I don't have to answer to anybody. My grandsons call me Papa. Hey, if your grandsons call you Papa, I'm gonna call you Papa. I don't have to answer to anybody, and I don't have to. So I'm gonna speak my mind, whether I get invited to these media events or not. I don't care. It is what it is. But at some point, Mark Pope is going to have to sit down and do an interview with somebody and explain what is going on. I don't need him answering a tweet from. Hold up, we're gonna find a crazy one. I'm just gonna find something crazy, just something wild. Like this, Jayhawk Focus. Hey, Mark Poop, first time caller, long time listener. Do you think Kentucky Wildcats will finish top 10 in the AC? Like, this is just an event for them to troll, guys. This is just an event. I just don't like it. AD would definitely help us, but I wonder why they haven't hired that. And that's another thing. That is another whole issue. Is the athletic department is burning. It is what it is. It's burning down. It's going crazy. From what the rumblings were, we was going to hire one. Now we're not. Now it's going to be a week or so. Then there's rumblings of this, and that takes me back to this. This takes me back to another point. Is everyone wants Mark Pope fired? Everyone wants to hear Mark Pope fired. We need Mark Pope fired. We want Mark Pope fired. Who's going to hire somebody? What AD is going to hire anybody right now? We don't even have one. We have the governor that got Barnhart's contract ripped up. So who's going to hire somebody? We don't have that. That's Kentucky athletics when it comes to basketball and the AD and the higher ups is probably the worst I have seen in a while. we don't even have. Even my dog is saying it's a dumpster fire. Like, see, she's even saying it again. Tell Sophie, tell him it's a dumpster fire. Damn it, that's right, Sophie. Like, I don't. This is where people don't really understand. They think with instant. They think instant. All right, we fire him. We can get Billy. How many times has Billy said no to us? How many times has Billy Donovan said no to the University of Kentucky? Twice, I think. Twice. I don't think 3 times, but twice. Who says he's not going to say no again? So everyone's banking on Billy D. Billy D is going to come back home and save us. He's going to save us. What if he says no? And then we're right back in the same position that we were when Cal left. Cal didn't get fired. Cal left. And now we're down with 2 people, Pope and Shaka Smart. So if we get rid of Pope, who's out there right now that's going to accept this job the way it is? It starts with a great AD. Yeah, it does start with a great AD. Starts with a great AD and a great athletic department that is all in unison, not some that thinks one way thinks to another way. My advice, we're better off. Oh, Rondo is assistant coach with the money we got left. Now, hey, Bruce Pearl, that higher ups didn't want Bruce Pearl. I think Bruce Pearl, I like Bruce Pearl. I love Bruce Pearl. Billy Donovan's not Kentucky. You can bet the house. I'm right there with you, Wireman. I'm right there with you. For everybody that is saying, I want Billy D. Billy D's not coming, guys. He's not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to bust your bubble.
Stop the cap.
He's not coming. Pearl's old and done. Yeah. But for that time that we wanted him, I'd rather had Bruce Pearl than Pope and Shaka. If you just put those 3 in a lineup, you put Shaka Smart, Bruce Pearl, Mark Pope, who would you want? And I'm not saying you're wrong. Billy D isn't a young either, right? Right. Billy isn't young either. Billy's been out of the game for what, 20 years, I want to say? Now, I could be wrong. I was wrong a couple times. I think about 20 some odd years. Wireman, am I wrong about that? About 20 years that since Billy's been in the college game? Rupp ain't walking through those doors. You're right. Some say Rondo has been in too much trouble now going to no, well, now I think some things you can look over. Pearl was the best coach. Yeah, Pearl is the best coach. So Pearl is the best coach. He's 6 years. If you put those 3, I'm going Bruce Pearl. I'm going Bruce Pearl. Hey, I would love for that to happen. And I would love for Lucas to be our next coach. But the hard fact and the hard truth and the hard reality is, if Mark Pope takes this team Sweet 16, Elite 8, that is your coach for next year. That is your coach for next year. It is what it is. And people really live in a false reality that they think even if Mark Pope was to go to the Elite 8, he's going to get fired. Pearl 66. He's coming back. But I think these people that really live in a false reality of, fire Mark Pope, get him out of here. Let's get him gone. Let's get him to do, let's get him back to BYU, whatever. And we're going to hire this coach that's going to just save the program with everything in us. With that roster, you got to be kidding me. What do you mean you got to be kidding me? Can't keep buying coaches. Yo, I totally agree. You can't keep buying the coaches out for millions. You're right. Patino 73, like, you can't, like, you bought, Cal did us a favor by leaving. You're still paying Stoops. His Pope's buyout isn't bad, but you can't be doing all that. But Like I don't agree with people saying that he's gone. I always felt Pearl had. I said, 100%. Bruce Pearl secretly loves UK. I don't care what he says. I don't care what anybody says. He does secretly love it. Super Kells because he mentioned in his tales. 100%. I'm 56 and all I want for $2.4 million. Is that it? Oh, we're going to get you on the steal. Trust me. I'm going to break the news right now. Big Papa is officially the University of Kentucky men's basketball coach. I dropped it right here. Let's hit the boom. There we go. There's a boom for us. Okay, next, let's talk about the roster. Oh my God, did I stir up a hornet's nest with my thoughts on the roster? Holy crap. You had people riding on horses on their profile picture. Ross, thank you so much for the follow. You had people riding on horses talking about, Ty, you don't know what you're talking about. This roster sucks. Guys. At no point did I say this roster was going to win a national championship or the SEC championship. Not one time did I say that. I didn't say that. I said, looking on the roster as of right now, I'm a little bit more excited than when a few weeks back. Because you fools that want to come in my DMs and say, I don't know what I'm talking about. Do you know a few weeks back how many people we had? Better Coach Pope or JT Burton? Dang. I'm on JT Burton. If he could deal with me, he could deal with anybody. So I'm going to go JT Burton by far because he had to deal with me. I'm more headache than DeMarcus, John, the twins, all of them combined. I'm more of a headache. So, hey, big ups to JT Burton for dealing with me. Big ups. What do you think if Marino leaves? I think, in my opinion, I don't think he leaves. Second round, on the cusp of second round, 31 pick, you get more money coming to UK than you do going to the NBA right now. So if I'm getting more money, I'm staying. And if I can take my jump that I think he can, and I have a long video coming out about what I think he needs to do. I put a short form. I put a short form out. If he, my big thing on Marino, and we'll just jump to Marino. So Marino mock drafts are out. He's at 31, on the cusp of 31, getting into that first round. If I'm him, I come back. This is just me. I don't think he leaves. I think worst case scenario, I don't think he leaves either. Yeah, I don't think he leaves because I think the NBA is going to tell him one thing. You're going to have to expand your game. You're definitely going to have to expand your game, not only back to the basket, but when matter of fact, let me pull this up real quick. When he is at the top of the key or anything like that, he's going to have to be able to, he's going to have to be more mobile. He's got to be more mobile at that position, because in the NBA, you have literally positionless basketball at times. You have people that are taking you off the dribble. You have people that are, these bigs that are, hold up, let me mute this so I don't want to. Okay, we'll break it down. We'll break this down. I like this part. Okay, so we'll break it down. Everyone can see. All right, we're good. Fast forward. Let's go here. Okay, see right here? This is where he needs to get bigger and stronger. Right here. Boom. The ball never needs to be down here. If you know anything about basketball, the basketball does not need to be here. It needs to be here. He's got to be stronger like that. And then vert, that's strength. That is strength. In the NBA, that is a block. Okay? That's just a block right there. For a big, I need him to bury people just like this. I need him to bury people all the way down. Now, mind you, shouldn't be that close on the pass, but it is what it is. And this right here, that's a dunk. That is a Fear Flyer dunk. NBA, this guy is not going to be hugged up on this man this close. The guy's going to be about right there. He's going to be jumping. Then it's going to be an easy block. Need more of this. Boom. Take off. Explode. We're going. I just don't think that as of right now he is ready. I think we're going off all potential. But he will. I think he comes back next year. And for him, It's weight room. It's all weight room. Big Cat Covers, thank you so much for the likes. It's all about weight room. It's all about getting your mitts stronger, because you're not playing against Valpos. You're playing against Giannis. You're playing against Embiid. You're playing against grown men. Now, mind you, you could say NIL people, it is 25, 24. Yes, you're right. But with him, he's going to have to be able to take the ball off the bounce. He's not going to be in, like, a kid of mine. Let me pull him up. A kid of mine that I coached, Brian, hold up. Okay. Okay, this is a kid that I coached in AAU. Now, 7'2". His name is Ryan, played with Creighton. Like, look, this is what he needs to get at. This is where he needs to be. This is where hitting the outside shots, being able to catch, being able to, dominate not only. You see how a little bit more mobile he is? Now, mind you, Ryan was 7-something. Look, I need, and mind you, this is highlights of him in college, but I need Marino, like, altering shots, running the floor. He's taller than Marino, and he's moving like that. I need Marino to be more agile. I think he's got a great frame, and he's got a great makeup to be able to do things like that. But I need him to hit the 15-foot jumper, jump out to the three, hit the occasional three. I'm not saying that. Yeah, I did. I sure did. I want to see Marino get more aggressive and slam the basketball. Like 100%. I'm right there with you. I need him to be dominant down there. I don't need him to be pushed out. I was watching videos of him. I watched him do he got boxed out by like a 6'2" guy. I don't need that. I don't need that. I need him to be able to, and you can say what you want, throw the little guy on the ground and go get that ball. I don't need him to be boxed out by him. I just don't need it. I don't have. I need you to be a dog down there. I need you to be the guy that is actually, a menace. Like that's what I think. That's what I think that he needs to take that next step. To take that next step, you're going to have to be stronger, bigger, faster, hit the open shots. And I think the NBA is going to say that. But what I also don't want him to do is come back next year and just start chucking up threes. I don't need that. I don't need you to be here chucking up threes and just doing kind of what, Ortega did the first part of the season. Remember when he was just shooting threes and everyone was like, what's going on? Because the league told him he needs to shoot. I don't need that. St. John's, Arkansas game, I saw real potential in him being a great. Yeah. Like some of these games, he got mad because he was getting like this one right here. You just said it. This right here. Boom. Boom. Take that contact. Go straight into his chest. Boom. Put him out of the way. Bam. Bam. Soon as I put this into his chest, he's going to go back, and then I've got this right here. That right there is money. You can't stop that. There's no way you can be stopping that right there. He has to get to the point where he's tired of it, and he's just going to go out there and just fight. That's what I need him to do. I need him to fight. I need a little bit more. And this comes with strength. Boom. Fast twitch muscles a little bit. I need him to get off the ground just a little bit quicker. Boom, up. Yeah. I need it just a little bit quicker, but I think he has a great base, and I think when the NBA calls and tells him, "Hey, this is what I need you to do," I think this is, he'll get an eye opener and be like, "Okay, cool, we'll do that." Hey, Logan, thank you so much for the follow. Big BBN, thank you so much for the follow. I really believe that when he comes back, he is going to be a lot better. I'm very happy for the young man. Very, very, very happy. Shane, thank you so much for the follow. I didn't get a coach against him when I was at Tates Creek, when he was at Great Crossing. I didn't get a coach against him. We didn't actually meet up in the region or anything like that. So I'm very excited. I'm very happy for him. But let's get to the big thing. Let's get to the big thing that people were just going crazy on me on for and just have, I don't know, basketball and all that. And that is the roster. So when I put the video out that I am more excited about the roster than I was, a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, we really didn't have too many people. If we really want to be honest, we didn't have too many people. Then we get Zoom. Then we get Alex. Then we get, a couple more. Here's where I say that this roster, constructed wise, is better than last year. And this is where I think people don't, not everybody, but a lot of people just think that because of these numbers that these kids aren't good. Let's go down the list. Terry, thank you so much for the follow. Let's go down the list. Let's just let's do a deep dive on last year's roster compared to this year's roster. Now, I did say I totally think that when it comes to the small forward position, and that is the glaring ugly. That's just glaring ugly because we don't really have anybody, and I don't think Cam fits that spot. That is where I think we need a superstar. And technically, there's no superstars out there. There's really no superstars out there per se right now, but there could be. We can find something. Now, let's go down the list. Your point guard, Jalen Lowe. And even when people say, well, shoot, when we had the full roster, we was unstoppable. We was 0-3 when we had the full roster. So shut that up. Stop and shut up. We was 0-3 when we had the full rosters. What about anyone in the EuroLeague? I think they could get somebody, but I just don't like. Here's my question with the EuroLeague is I don't think I don't think people really have the patience enough to get a Euro player that's going to take a couple weeks to adapt to the U.S. game. I just don't think. I don't think. And then, I mean, you seeing a lot of these Euro players are getting more money for other places. So let's go, Jalen. We have Zoom. Zoom is better than Jalen, in my opinion. Zoom is better because you know why? He's not hurt. Nothing against Jalen, nothing against him. Great young man, but he did not play half the game, and I give him nothing but credit for playing on a messed up shoulder. Totally give that. So that's 1-0 for this roster. 2. The number 2 spot. I pick Alex. Alex is a proven scorer. He can create off the dribble. He can come off screens. He can make his own shot. You're right. We do have 3 PGs now. Which shoot, we need them. But you can put Alex on the wing and he's gonna be able to create. You're totally right about that. Now, that's 2-0 this year's team. And you know what? I'll even go farther than this. We have backups. Who was the backup last year for Jalen? Now, we can't say Cam. We can't say that, Cam came in and Denzel, we can say that. But Jasper was the backup. Even though Jasper technically wasn't the backup and shouldn't have been the backup, we should have had another point guard. But that's not, we won't go down that road. We won't go down that road. So that's 2-0 this year's team, this coming year's team. 3, I give, I don't think we will find, unless we find a diamond in the rough overseas, we go somewhere Euro, we'll go, maybe even freaking to whatever. I don't think that that's going to be the glaring eye. That's going to be the one that is going to be just really ugly to see. I don't think that we were going to have them. Mr. RJ, thank you so much for the follow. I don't think that unless we pull a rabbit out of the hat, I don't see us getting a superstar. I do see us getting a couple other pieces, but then on top of that, the 4. How many did I even go out? we can say who we want. We can say Diabate. We can say Jaden. Jaden. We can say Brandon Garrison. We can say whatever. That's still up for the debate. I think the 4 spot has upgraded. I think in all reality, I do believe that the 4 spot has upgraded for us. I think the 4 is upgraded because how many is a stud? I do believe that. I think, but then you have the backup. You have a legitimate backup. So not only are you getting someone that's probably a little bit better than Brandon Garrison and Mo Diabate. Like, thank you so much for the thought. I think this is better. Now, the glaring the thing that's going to be interesting to see is Braden. Is he actually going to be as good as they say he is in practice? Now, if we take practice for anything, you remember last year we heard that this team was shooting 900%. Trent Noah, Chandler, and all them were going through everybody. They shooting 900%. Now, if we remember that, we know what happened toward the end. We know that our Cook, the entire team one-on-one. I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to come back to that in a second. So you can throw, I still throw it. I throw the other way. I still think that, this year's 4 is better than last year's 4. Then on top of that, you do have Malachi coming back. So that's, you can put it even because he played next year, whatever. So technically only spot that we have not filled that has been an upgrade was the 3 spot. So in what world do we think last year's crew, construction wise, is better than this year's? I don't see it. Constructed wise, we're talking about constructive. I think this year's team is a lot better. I do. Only thing that scares me is the small forward spot, and we do need one backup center. Because if Malachi is going to be sprinting down the court, doing all these things, he's going to need a breather. He's not going to be playing 40 minutes nonstop. He's going to need a breather. We need that. We need another stretch wing. I need another wing that's going to be able to shoot the ball, long, athletic, and then you roll the ball out. You really do. Yeah, if you're right. And I like how you capitalize if. I like that. I saw that. If you capitalize if, that's amazing. That's great. But no, you're right. You're right. If, no way you will beat Tennessee, Florida, or Arkansas. No one is even saying anything about beating that. We're talking about roster for roster. No way you beat Tennessee or Florida or Arkansas. Neither will a lot of other teams. Okay? And your point? And let's keep it all the way $150 there, Jerry. No one thought they was going to beat Arkansas this year. You didn't. No one else did. So, okay. So you can
Stop the cap.
Jerry. Yeah, I talk back to people. Yeah, this ain't your mom and pop show. I talk back to people. I don't care. I'm an independent person that talks back. I don't care. Now, I do believe that Tennessee. Jerry, you're right. Don't get it twisted. You are right. Tennessee, Arkansas, and Florida are totally low. Florida should be number 1. Florida definitely should be 1, but that's not saying that they can't do it. Tennessee is loaded. Florida is, and Cal pulled another one out of the wool. Like, honestly, when we went down to Arkansas, we didn't think we was going to win. Heck, Matt Jones even didn't think we was going to win. No one thought we was going to win, and they won. So, one thing I will give about college sports, and this is sports in general. This is just sports in general. You never know what's going to happen until that ball is tipped. You never know. You never know what is going to happen. You don't know where the ball is going to land. You don't know what's going to happen. We can say on paper. Now, Jerry, I wish you all would have kept Cal. No, I don't. Honestly, I love Cal. I'm the biggest Cal fan. I think Cal is amazing. I love Cal, but I really believe that it was time for him to go. I still state to this day that I think Cal stayed maybe a year to 2 years too long. And that's kind of where the turmoil came. And he went on to go to, Arkansas, got his fire back, got his swagginess back, and is doing an amazing thing. What I do believe that I think you can have love. I love Cal and I love Kentucky basketball. But sometimes you get to the point where it's a toxic relationship and it's time to move on. Now, what we got now is a little bit more rocky than what we had with Cal, but if we have to take the lumps and bruises to get to where we want to go. Everything can't be rainbow sunshines and unicorns. It just can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's better than what you got now. Pope is way over his head. I do agree. I do totally agree that Pope is way over of his head. I agree with that. I believe that. I believe Pope is over his head a little bit more than what he thought it would be. And whatever that conversation was between him going from BYU to here, and, I admire him for wanting to take this challenge. And this is a daunting challenge. This is and I hate to say this reference, but this is pretty much, how can I say this? This is pretty much the biggest spotlight you can have. This is literally the biggest spotlight you can have when it comes to college basketball. It's a job where you have to literally be the president. What's good, Jada Blue? What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? You have to be the president. You have to be the governor. You have to be the mayor. You have to be the janitor. You have to sell the popcorn, kiss the babies, drink a beer with the guys, and talk whatever with the ladies. This is what this job entails. It is what it is. And I think Pope thought he could do it, and he can do it too. The Pope we saw at the press conference is the Pope that we need now. Now, we can also say that we don't want to hear about rainbows and sunshines. I totally agree with that. But the Pope that we had at the beginning of the year when he fired everybody up and said he wants to talk to everybody, that's the Pope that we need now. Not this Pope that is coming out with a tweet saying that we want to hear from you. Okay? Ronald, thank you so. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you for the heartbeat. That's the Pope that we need. And for some strange reason, I think I talked to somebody and I can't say who I talked to, but I talked to somebody that is out that way, and he said Pope does get in his head a lot, and I need Pope not to get into his head and get mentally messed up, because we saw it in a lot of those press conferences. We saw that. What did he say? He's talking about, himself and laying in the bed and all that. No, man. I understand that this job can really get you down. This job, it will beat anybody. It takes only the strong survive with this job. Can we be a top 20 team? I don't think so. In my opinion, I don't think we're a top 20. I don't think we can get to the top 20. I can't say yes or no. I could say no right now, but I got to see how the roster will play out. Let's see. Terrible idea. Yeah, way terrible idea. Pope, you better add for the coach. Well, I don't think he would be. Honestly, what do you think? He would be ranked. I couldn't tell you one thing about. Probably, I'd definitely say the top 20. Pope should be the offensive coach and let someone else take. Well, hold up, BBN. Who's the dude? Hold up. Who is my guy? Hold up. Who's my guy? Cody. Hey, Cody. I need Cody to be more of the scout guy who scouts the team, because when he did the scouting report on two of the teams, I ain't gonna say who, but two of the teams they dominated. So I think Cody needs to be more of that. Lucas, I think Lucas right now, I don't think I got to see who the AD is. Now, if the AD is Harden going to be better than expected, I'll go back to what BBN said. I'll go back to what BBN said. He said that he was cooking the whole team on one-on-one. Now, if anyone has played a sport, you know you play your boys one-on-one, you play practice one-on-one. That's cool. That's great. But it's a total different thing when you have a 6'8", 7-foot monster that is hungry, that's ready to rip your head off in front of you than somebody you see every day. So not even BBN, just everybody else that is talking about, how he killed in practice, how he did this in practice. Practice is one thing. What did we hear about Trent Noah and everybody shooting 90% from threes and then coming out there on the court? You know what I'm saying? We okay with starting Cam? No, not right now. Tim, I don't think we start Cam right now. Unless if we start Cam right now, that's going to be rough. Bro, I wish everyone would relax and let him cook. We're going to be okay. I'm not one of those people that are going to jump out I'm not one of those guys that are going to jump off the roof and, go crazy about this and that. I'm just not that guy. I just won't think. I think right now you have a top 40 roster that is, it just depends. We don't know what the full roster is. We don't know how they're going to play together. What if this team just hypothetical. Let's run something. Let's just play an imaginary island right now. What if this team actually plays hard, just like the first year's team, and goes on a run? Then what is everyone going to say? What do we say? Winning cures all, right? Winning cures all. And everyone's going to be, well, shoot, he actually knew what he's talking about. Look at him go. Now, is that going to happen? I don't know, but we can see. I think with how loaded that freshman was, what scares me, honestly, what scared me about this whole thing was him not getting a high school recruit. I don't ever want him to never not get a high school recruit. I don't want him to put all of his eggs in the basket to depend on the portal. I hate that. I hate the fact that we have to rely on the portal for everything. And Big Blue Nation was like, we're tired of the one and dones. Well, I understand that. We want to see these 4-year players, 3-year players, but that's not really going to happen in the modern game. It's just not going to happen. And you're going to get, your Trent Noahs. You're going to get some of these players that's going to stay. But at the end of the day, you're going to have some of these players that are going to come here 1 year, 2 years, and go. We hired a coach who needs to grow into the role. BBN doesn't have that. No, they don't. BBN and in a general is, it's championship or bust, SEC or bust. It is what it is. And that's kind of what makes this fan base great, but it also makes this fan base just want to pull your hair out. I have no problem with being told that, I want to win. Everyone wants to win. But if you look at the track records of teams that actually have won, it's sporadic. Yes, you can say UConn's, whatever. Look at all the talent Duke has. Look at all the talent Duke's had. Have they won? No. Now, I don't know what their fan base is going through. I know what ours is. So why did the recruits keep walking away? I'm not going to speculate or say anything crazy. I've just heard rumblings that the visits have went terrible. And I don't know what that means. And that's kind of scary. That is very, very scary to say that the visits have went bad. That scares me to think that. Yeah, I do believe that. I think if Marino does what he needs to do and Cam can stop over dribbling and Cam can, do what he needs to do, I do believe that we'll be just fine. I think, and not just fine, I think we'll be competitive. Let me just say that. I think we'll be competitive. The way Cal Down they ruined the way we look. Well, I don't think we'll ever see a run that Cal had. Now we can say Cal didn't win championships, that's fine. But when it comes to recruiting, I don't think we'll ever see that ever again in college basketball. That was before NIL, that was before everything. Cal would just get anybody and everything, and it was just one of those things where all the stars aligned. We won't see that because you got people that's going to freaking Providence. You got people that's going to, BYU is spending buckets and buckets of money. So, hey, it is what it is. Because we got used to winning in they're right. Cal probably need players that just is. Yeah, no, 100%. And that's the thing is, Cal said it, and this is where I argue with people. This is where I argue with people all the time about Cal, and I don't want to get on the Cal rant. Is Cal said it first? He is a player's coach. He wants to put his players in the league to get generational wealth, to take care of his family, to take care of their family, not his, take care of their family and all that. He said that. That's what his main goal is, and that's what everyone knows. Cal's going to get you to the league. Now, does that translate to wins and all that? That's up for debate. I won't have that debate with anybody. I just thought, when those 5 years Cal got here, we'll never see anything like that. The visits the visitors already had other. Was never bad. They said anything to get clicks. No, that's BS. That's BS, big guy. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. It is. You can't tell me that you have 14 out of the top 20 players in the country come through Kentucky and get 0 without it being a bad visit. And a bad visit could be a lot of things. A bad visit could be a bad negotiation, a bad talk, a bad whatever. You can't say that it's all about clicks. You can't say that crap. Can't say it. I'm sorry. It could be about anything. Tyron Stokes was here for 24 hours and said, yeah. Now, mind you, Tyron didn't already sign with Kansas, but, you can't say that. You can't say that. I'm telling you what I know. Me too. I'm telling you what I know. Oh, Lord. What I know. Yeah, I think this is, and especially with Mark Pope, if what I've heard is true, and Mark Pope is in those last negotiating rooms talking contracts with agents, is with his coaching staff, that's terrible. That's where you have to have a GM. You definitely have to have a GM. Get lucky, KY. Thank you so much. BYU has Utah owners and might have money. They're the ones that, 100%. Like that is when you have when you have BYU, Providence, and all of them throwing big bags around, and to be honest, this transfer portal has not been as big and deep as what past years. Yeah, you have a couple of good players, but you don't have those. You don't have how can I say this? You didn't have that many shooters. You had maybe 1 or 2 shooters that really could shoot. And that's the thing that novices don't understand. You have a shooter and you have shooters. There's a difference. Some shooters can just sit there and shoot. Others can create. You didn't have that knockdown. You had maybe 1 or 2 that can knock down the ball. They heard us spend $23 million and said, hey, we can do that too. Shoot. Hey, look, we can say Louisville's doing it. We can say a lot of teams doing it, but this is the new norm. This is the new norm for college sports and college basketball. Spending $22 million is nothing now. Louisville's going to find out real quick. I believe that what Louisville's doing is the same thing that I think what Louisville's doing is loading up for Pat and saying, hey, Pat, we're going to get you everything you want. And Pat, listen, if you do it, cool. If you don't, you're out. So this is Pat's make or break year for Pat. Either Pat's going to do it or Pat's going to be like, hey, it's time to go. Time to get up out of here. KY has a big bag, but the narrative of we have to be dominant and great has shifted for us. Yes and no. I think the These kids will take care of these kids take care. 100%. That's why you see the okay. And I know the overseas game a little bit because of all the guys going overseas and stuff. If I'm playing at a mid-level team, if I'm playing at a Pro 2 team overseas, and I'm not playing at the pro, at the top level, if I'm making 500,000, 20,000, 40, 50, 60, whatever, if I'm not making $1 million, and I'm overseas and I can come over here and make that much money, or if I'm a kid that's thinking about going overseas and I can stay in college another year and make 1 million, 2 million, why wouldn't I do that? Why won't I stay here and actually play college a little bit more? Then, like back then, you could go summertime. You go Sipa Copa. Then after the Sipa Copa, then you can go to a different league and you could just bounce around and make as much money as you want. Some is just like a summer league and you're making 100, 200, 300, 400,000. Then staying in college and making maybe 1 to 2 million. You know what I'm saying? We also said the NIL standard last year whiffed. Now the baseline for big names. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, we did whiff. Like we whiffed bad. And I don't know. You could say people can argue with your mama about this one. We whiffed bad. And the narrative of us not saying that we didn't spend 23, 22, 20, whatever. The narrative of us not saying that did we do it or did we not really hurts. It really does. It really hurts us. Louisville won't make the Elite Eight. Hey. I hope we make the Elite Eight. How about that? Can we say that, Cats fans, please? I'm with you. Yeah, you're right. These kids can retire out of college if they're smart. But, I mean, let me ask you this. If you put $5-6 million in y'all's pockets at 18, 19, do you think you're really going to be that smart with some of that money? Now, think about, some of y'all think way moons back. Some think a couple months back. Some think, a few years back. You're 18 making $5 million. What are you going to spend it on? Like, do I think it's right? What I do wish they would do, and I don't know if they do or not, what I wish they would do is, and, especially with agents and all of that, agents are going to take a certain percentage and all of that. But what I wish they would do is set them up. Hold up. Of course, this would do this. My bad. I hate TikTok does that. Financial literacy. I need them to know, where to put this money, how to make this money last. I think that would be amazing for them. I don't know if they do that or not, but we'll see. We're not making the Sweet 16. Hey, if you know something, if you know that we're not going to make it, and you see that already, and it happens, I hope you're playing the lottery, Cats fans. I hope you're playing the lottery tonight, and tell me the numbers so I can play too, so we can split that money. Because if I couldn't tell you one way or not if we're going to make it. I didn't think we was going to beat some of those teams last year that we beat, but hey, who knows? We'll see. We need a top Euro player at this point. Well, I don't even think, even if we get a top Euros player, if we get a top Euro player, who said he's going to fit in with Pope's system. But what I really do believe is, I do think some of those overseas players are tailor-made for Mark Pope. I think some of those players are tailor-made for Mark Pope's system because they're systematic players. I don't think Mark Pope does well with athletic style players that want to get up and down the court. I don't think he does well with those players. That's just me thinking out loud. When you have an athletic dog that you can just let go and do whatever, I don't think Mark Pope does well with those players. I think he needs those players that play systematic, pass cut, get your wide open shot, not just free flowing offense that is able to create lanes. I don't think that. I pray I'm wrong. Who'll be us no matter what. Hey, Cats fans, I'm just giving you a hard time, man. I'm just giving you a hard time now. I do too. I mean, I hope we do well. I want Mark Pope to succeed. I'm just giving you a hard time. Recruiting is going to get more difficult. We've been exposed. Let me point to. Well, let's also say this is I want to know who is developing these players. Player development is huge. If you look at a lot of these players in Pope's system, I mean, I would even like to go back to, BYU days. Who is his player development coach that is going to get the player to that next level? Now we have Mo, which I think is going to be huge for Azum, huge for Alex, huge for, a lot, the guards. That's going to be able to take that next step. But who is the player development that's going to get these players to fine tune their game? Now, I was that guy when I was the player development coach for all the programs. I was the one that did it. I was the guru. I was the guy that would literally look at the film, see what foot was wrong, see what this was wrong, where the foot placement is, and all of that. So I would love to see, with him being so analytic, I would love to see what his philosophy is for developing a player. Just land a signature star. I mean, that's easier said than done. If there is one out there, let me know and we'll go talk to him. Can't point to a player that has improved under him. Yeah, that's why I don't know. Like I'm really you can say Marine, you can say Malachi, but I think Malachi was already that way when he got out of Great Crossing. Now, practice, you're going against better players, but I would love to know what player has actually took leaps and bounds. Kenny was the guy. Kenny, with Cal, Kenny was that guy that worked with the bigs and got them going, got the bigs just moving. I don't know who that is for Pope. Like, I don't know who that is for Pope, for him to be able to do that stuff. Who do you think he gets as an assistant? Oh, God. And that's another great, that's a great question. What is going on with the assistant coaches? We know we got Mo. Let's see, hold up. We got Mo. We got Cody. Pope. Who else? Was the only... O'Day was the only one that developed into something special. He went from 6 points to OU. Yep. Now, Brandon, I give you credit for that. But was it that he was just in the wrong system, and then when he came, Fox is still around? Okay, Fox is still around. Okay. Yeah, he was in that photo, wasn't he? You're right. He was in that photo. Or was Otega put in a system that was tailor-made for his success? So I agree. Yeah, I agree. We can say him. But how much did Pope actually not Pope, staff was hands-on with him? That'd be my question. And I totally agree with that. I agree. Sanders all took major steps under him. I don't know about major steps. Otega would be the only one I would say took a major step. But hold up. I'm going to hit y'all with a stat that's going to make you think. But I'm going to hit you with the stat that's going to make y'all think. Hold up. What is it? Hold up. 1 second. 1 second, y'all. Okay, now. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Some of his system was made for some of those players. Okay, now we're talking about major steps. Okay, major steps. If he took a major step, like we're saying he is, he would have been higher on the draft board. Now, does anybody know what Ortega is on the draft board this year? Does anybody know that? Because I really don't know. I don't even think he's in the draft. Hold up. Undrafted? Okay. That's where I say that, yes, he took a major step, but was it really that major? It was major to us because we had a rough roster. But if it was a major step, he would be invited to the Columbine. He would have been going to these places. Now, I can go onto the other side and be like, well, he did take a major step because he had to put the team on his back. So, I mean, I can see both sides. And like I said, I love the conversation about this. I don't think there is a wrong answer. You know what I'm saying? I love these conversations, but he could follow if anyone else drops, but 70 people in the draft right now and 60 only. Yeah, it's and I mean, it's the lowest amount of players right now because of the of NIL. You know what I'm saying? So it's a slippery slope. Now let's go on. Let's talk about the overseas team. Let's talk about overseas for a little bit. Do you believe, as Big Blue Nation, do we believe that Big Blue Nation would get behind an overseas team? And what I mean by that is, do you believe that if Mark Pope was to get 5 players overseas, do you think Big Blue Nation would have the patience enough to do that? To actually get behind players they have no earthly idea about, didn't even know about these leagues. Do you think Big Blue Nation would actually get behind that? If they win? Okay. Do you think the build up to that season? Okay, let's say right now. Let's say we have 6 overseas players. Brazil, France, England, comes from the Italy, whatever. 5 of them. 5, 6 of them. No, Big Blue Nation has no idea if it was the Euro League or the KBA League. Has no idea. Do you know how much pressure that would be for Pope? I don't think Big Blue Nation would do it. I really don't believe that. I think Big Blue Nation would run him out of town if he got 6 players that's going to start from overseas. It'd be interesting. I think it'd be more of a dumpster fire now than it would be. It would be more of a dumpster fire about that than this. Could you imagine that? You have 6 guys no one knows squat about. You're going to have to call the guys overseas to figure out who they are. And then you get some little high scores, maybe get the 130th, ranked player, a couple other players. Could you imagine how crazy Big Blue Nation would go? Why are we getting them players? Why didn't we get some of the, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm getting it from. It worked for Illinois. It worked for Illinois. I'm just thinking, is that more of his style of player? Is that where he kind of wants to go? I just want a healthy team. If Cam's the star, then we're good. I think Garrison somewhere. We need somebody. We also do need somebody. If it works, he doesn't know. Hell yeah. You're right. I mean, that's where I'm getting it from. That's exactly where I'm getting it from to be there. This is where I don't think this is where I think Pope is kind of smart by going over there and seeing what we can get, thinking outside the box. I really think that's kind of smart for him. I do. I think it's kind of smart for him. Let me see something here. Do we know what he is doing though? Is he literally answering the questions on Twitter, or is he? Do we know? Do we know what he's doing? Is it just like a forum where he's just answering the questions, or is he going on a live? Either way, this is a make or break video. If it's this way, it's make or break video. It's bad. Well, I'm with you. It's this way. It is a make or break. It's a make or break year for him. It is. There's no way There's no ifs, ands, or buts. This is a make or break year. I am the biggest. I wouldn't say hater toward Mark Pope. I don't want to say that, but I'm the biggest critic. I want to see him succeed so bad, but also I want to see him do the right things. I want to see him do the right things. I want him to be able to. I don't want him to go. And I see a lot of people saying, "Well, it's great that he kind of hid and kind of did his own thing." No, it wasn't. It wasn't good. You could gave a smoke signal. You could have done anything you want leading up to this point. The last thing that we've heard from him was April 7th. Let's work, BBN. And now we get one. We get one May the 5th. I just don't like that. I don't like that. What's your threshold? He has to meet to make it to the year 4. To make it to year 4, Sweet 16. Sweet 16, Elite 8, he's back. And a lot of people don't want to hear that, though. A lot of people don't believe that is it. And that's all you have. That's all you have to have is to have those. I think silence from him hurt the support from people. Yes, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with silence hurt. What did Pope say? Which time? Which one? Just pretty much this. I mean, this is what he technically said. Hold up. This is what he said right here. He wants to hear from Big Blue Nation. Here, I'll replay it again.
Here
we go.
Big Blue Nation. It has been a busy 6 weeks, and I've missed you. It's time to talk some hoops. So drop a question below, and I'll hit you back. Go Cats. Big Blue Nation. It has been a big.
I just don't think I don't think this is it. I just don't think this is it. I don't think that is what we need to do. I hope it works, but I just don't think it works. I don't think it is. I think, yeah, and I'm with you. I think silence hurts us. I think silence really, really hurt because it felt like as Big Blue Nation, I'm going to go on a rant for a couple seconds. As Big Blue Nation, we kind of want to be a part of it a little bit. We kind of want to be a part of what's going on. You see the Banner Boys getting behind, these recruits, and you see this and you see that. And I felt like at one point we were all in the dark about what was going on. We didn't know what was really going on. No one, you have, and I go back to some of these other fools that call themselves, media members that are, listening to people that say that, Tyron Stokes was going to get a percentage of Jamal Mashburn's burger funds and all that. Like, man, like they need to shut the hell up. But like we was all in the dark. No one knew anything about what is going on. And as Big Blue Nation, we want to be a part of it. You remember when the coach search was going on? You're so cool with your heat on backwards. Holy shit. He said heat. Learn how to spell, dumbass. I think Big Blue Nation, we want to be a part of shit. We want to be a part of what's going on. Banner Boys, doing their thing. And I feel like we, at one point, we weren't even in the know on things. I want to be able to, know what's kind of going on, but not really. You kind of get, you're going to be arm's length away from anything. You're just going to be. But at the end of the day, I think pushing us away was a bad move. A PR move was bad. That's just my opinion. We have to move on from Pope. We still don't know. We have to move on from Pope. We still don't know. I don't think, like I said before, Robert, let me ask you a question. And I love, I would ask anybody questions. So I love this. Let me ask you this. If we was to get rid of Pope right now, what AD do we have right now to hire somebody? What AD do we have? We don't have an AD to hire anybody. We don't even know the AD. Who would your next hire be after Pope? I couldn't tell you right now. I couldn't tell you one person that I would go after right now. I just genuinely couldn't. The obvious choice would be Billy D, but I don't think Billy D comes here. I really don't believe that. I believe Billy D won't be the next coach. I think he would hire some assistants to have helped him recruiting. Too many question marks. Yeah, Daniel, I'm right there with you. When I was assistant coach, I was assistant head coach for Tates Creek Commodores. Shout out to Tates Creek. Our head coach, Gerard Gay. My thing was he delegated everything. Mine was player development, conditioning, and making sure that the scout was ready for every team. He did scouts, I did scouts, we kind of rotated. Mark Pope has to delegate. I think Mark Pope is more hard-headed than what we say. Daniel, thank you so much for the follow. I think Mark Pope is really hard-headed and wants to do things his way, and it's his way or no way. That's why we don't have a GM. We don't have a GM. And people say, "Oh, we don't need a GM." Yes, we do need a GM, guys. Do you really want Mark Pope in the negotiating table with an agent? Could you imagine? Rip the band. Imagine this. Could you imagine Mark Pope sitting in a negotiating table with Rich Paul of Clutch Sports? Rich Paul would eat Mark Pope up like yogurt, cereal, whatever. And that's who we're sending to sit down and talk to these kids about NIL money. We're sending Mark Pope and his staff. What are we thinking? I just don't think. What about Rondo? What about Rondo? His team would play hard. I mean, are we talking about Rondo like as a coach, or are we talking about Rondo as a GM? Mr. Good Gosh, guys. Yo, we in the group chat. We was talking about that. That was funny. Gee Willikers, guys. Why don't these kids want to come play for us? Gee whiz. I thought we had him. Like, hey, my God, that'd be great. Rondo, yes, but no, Rondo was probably arguably one of the greatest basketball minds. But I don't think he's there yet. I don't think he's ready yet. I don't think he's ready yet. Give it a couple years and then we might see. I think Lucas would be a good one. Would he do it? I think he would. Being a Nike person, being in the Nike circuit, Kentucky's the biggest, Nike pool other than Duke and all that. I think he would, but I don't think it. Guys, it also depends on who the AD is. We know the head up and the AD. We know once we know the AD, then we would know a little bit more about which way we can go, because the AD could be like, nah, I don't want him. I want a certain type of player. I want a certain type of coach. I want, clean cut, suit and tie. He might want that. We need an AD that's going to teeter that line a little bit too. I enjoyed your lives. Keep it up. Thank you so much. It's not guaranteed, but his average. No, 100%. He is next up. He is next up. Lucas is totally next up. When he was here, I mean, we all know him and Cal butted heads. We know that because he told Cal literally that we need to upvamp stuff, and he didn't do it, and so he left for Duke. And then when he went to Duke, what happened? Duke started landing these recruits right and left. We can't forget new coach until we see. Yeah, 100%. We can say who we want, and I love that game of we want this person, we want that person. I love that game. Love that game. But if the AD is like, no, we don't want to hire, this is the tailor-made coach that we were looking at. I want these choices right here and nothing else. That's what we got to go by. And it's really going to be kind of tailor-made to see who is going to be that AD. And if that AD is wanting to teeter on the line, and guys, I understand. I'm just going to bring his name up. If we want to get a Bruce Pearl, that has had a little bit of trouble in the past. Okay, cool. We'll go look at him. But this administration before didn't want that. They wanted a clean-cut image. And is that the next AD's agenda? We just don't know. We just have to see once the AD is officially hired who we're going to get. Thinking the same? Like, yeah, I mean, we know from a player standpoint, why would you sign until you know? Well, I mean, let me ask you this. I like the question. Would you even care if somebody's putting $4 to $5 million on your plate, guaranteed? Do you really care about who's going to be the coaching staff? If I was like Daniel, all right, Daniel, you come play for Coach Ty University. I'm gonna give you $3 million right now. You tell me you're gonna ask who the rest of the coaching staff is. If I was to put $4 million on your plate right now, so I mean, do you think they care? Hey, Daniel, they could put me and you on the coaching staff, and them boys would still sign. They don't care. They ain't worried about that. The fact we don't have an endorsement of leadership at UK, never over to tree. All the players saying get rid of him. All people saying get rid of him don't understand contracts and buyouts. KS still got to pay. Yeah, no, they still got to pay, and we're already paying too much money to Stoops. Stoops is somewhere having a bourbon and a cigar right now. You know, living off of UK money. Like, I mean, a lot of people don't understand that. And I'm gonna go. I sound. Need some other Mr. Good. Gosh, coach, guys. I need to get so. I gotta get a sound bite of that. Good gosh, Willigers, guys. I gotta get that sound bite. Once I get that sound bite, I'll get it. That's a good one. That's a good one. Like, but yeah, no, you're right. Hey, you're right. We do need to understand that. And another thing would be if we were to if we was to let go Pope's gone. The other kids can go too. The other kids can now we can say, well, they're getting money. Yeah, that's fine. But we can also say that who says that these other teams isn't going to offer them even more money if Pope was to leave? If Pope was to leave right now and get fired, those players can go elsewhere and be just fine. Now, you think it's a dumpster fire now? Imagine if we get a coach that doesn't know what they're doing, just somebody that they hired quick, has little to no money. What do you think is going to happen? If they leave, it doesn't matter. We aren't making the tournament anyway. Robert, do you understand that there is 70-some teams in the tournament this year? You could get a college sport team and make the tournament. I could make it the tournament. Hell, Daniel can make the tournament. Tim's going to make the tournament. Fishing's going to make the tournament. We're all going to make the tournament at this point. If you leave it to the NCAA, like, there's no... Unless something crazy happens, it doesn't matter. We lose. It doesn't matter. Dustin, thank you so much for the likes. It doesn't matter. We lose 15 to 20 games. Even if we probably lose 15, 20 games, we're still making the tournament. I don't think we'll lose 15, 20 games. That would be ridiculous if we did that. That would mean Mark Pope is coming back and playing if we're losing 15, 20 games. And I don't think he wants to get out there and suit up. I just don't. Guys, last thing I do want to mention before we head off here is on the scale of the big blue scale. Looking at going into, let's just say right now. And what Mark Pope tweeted out about, Big Blue Nation, I want to hear from you. We're going to respond. Do you think this works? Do you think this is going to work? Do you think that stunt of him saying that he wants to talk to all of us, do you really believe this is going to work? In my opinion, I don't think it is. I hope it does. I hope it kind of calms it down a little bit, but I don't see it working, guys. I just don't. Yeah, I don't see it working. I think this is a really bad idea. Because he's not going to answer a lot of those questions, I don't believe. He's not going to answer a lot of those things of, different, like you saw, wear a body cam when you're recruiting. Like, I understand what they're going for, but it's kind of like they are manipulating the narrative a little bit. And just hear me. He's hiding in the actor. It's kind of like they're manipulating the narrative a little bit. They're going to pick the questions that they want, which if you go into any, sit down interview, and if you're interviewing somebody, there is, sometimes the list of questions, hey, we don't want to talk about this. We don't want to talk about that. There is some of those. I understand that part. I totally understand that part. But sometimes you have to answer those tough questions. You have to face Big Blue Nation and actually spill your truths a little bit. I don't want to hear about the 96-98 team. I don't want to hear anything about, whatever. I want to hear about what's going on in recruiting, what is going on with the coaching staff. Has the AD hiring search hurt, whatever. I want to hear the tough questions. I don't want to hear about you fishing. I don't want to hear about you, I want to hear about what's going on with the program. Hit the point, and you can throw some other stuff in there, but I want to hear what is actually going on with this program. Will he answer it? I don't believe that. UK basketball, not just Pope, but basketball as a whole. Yeah, no, 100%, Dustin, 100%. Yes, it definitely has to get a GM. That would be worse than going on against balls for help. Oh, shoot. I can say, help me. Exactly. He needs to stop having call-in calls on his road show, and he would only talk to old players. Yeah, like that's another thing. The call-in show became just, the call-in show just became worthless. And I don't mean no disrespect to you, Tom Hart. Nobody like that. I don't mean no disrespect like that. But the call-in show just became pointless. It became just there was guys. There was a lot of things that he did that just made me question what's going on. Like toward the end of like the last interview that he had, where he was sitting with talking about Cal's stats and all this. I just didn't like. It didn't, like I said earlier, podium Mark Pope when he was at Rupp Arena giving the State of the Union to now, it's just night and day. It really is night and day. No PR is proof. He know what he's doing. He could have his buddies pushing his narratives and doesn't. Hart, thank you so much for the follow. But guys, like I said, I pray and hope that this, that he, it's like he collapsed under pressure. I agree. And I always give the analogy of two things. Pressure either, breaks pipes or makes diamonds. It's your choice. It's never either or. You're either going to make a diamond or they're going to break pipes. And I think at the end of the day, the pressure came too much for him at some points. But as a player that has played for this fan base, that understands this fan base probably better than anybody, can we say, captain, you should know what you expect. Exactly. He wasn't in a -0 degree weather. Yo, that's good. I was gonna say something. I'm not gonna say it. You're right. He did bust in -0 weather. Never mind. Like I said, guys, yes, this is not a radio show. This ain't like this is raw and uncut. Guys, it is what it is. It's easy to be the guy until things to go how you expected. Then you have to go and answer 100%. What did Mike Tyson say? What did Mike Tyson say, guys? Everyone's got a plan until you get punched. Everyone's got a, until you get punched. And Mark Pope got punched, and literally he went hiding. I'm sorry. If you want somebody to say that, everything is great and everything is glory, yes, that is not me. Mark Pope got punched and went hiding. Literally hiding from the time it started to just a couple of minutes ago. He literally went in hiding. We have two exits in the tournament of getting beat by 25 or more with at least 10 losses. Yeah, no, that I agree with that. I think the days of him, of the team going down by 15 and 20 and having to come back, you can't sustain that. As a coach, okay, let me break you down to, let me break you down into the coach mode. TK, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the likes. Follow. This is Sophie, guys. If y'all don't care. Sorry. That's Sophie. I would, if this is just me putting on my coach's hat. The amount of energy you have to come back from a 15 point deficit is crazy. And then you wonder why your players are gassed at the next game. It's because you're putting double pressure on them to come back from a 15-point deficit. You keep doing that, and you see why the players were gassed at the end of the year. You can't keep pushing turbo and expect this car to run. Remember, you had a Ferrari. You had a Ferrari at the beginning of the year. It was actually a Pinto. You know what I'm saying? People said he overcorrected and went for defense. Then why wasn't we elite? Well, think of it this way, Robert. I'll throw another one at you. Yeah, he did overcorrect. Yeah, he did over substitute. But when you're bringing in players that are out of position per se, just a little bit, the defense isn't going to be there. Who are you going to bring in? You know what I'm saying? But I agree with you. He did overcorrect. He did overcorrect. He did do these things that I was just confused about. Substitution patterns. Somebody hits 4 threes, you're going to sub him out. Oh, he's tired. No. Anybody that's at a park, anybody that's played at a park, league, whatever, high school, college, wherever you played at, you hit 4 threes in a row. What do you want? Give me the ball. Give me the ball. You want to shoot. You want your heat check. You got to let the boy get a heat check. You can't. Feed the studs. 100%. Mark Pope is a 20-win. But you know what, Robert? You know what's crazy? And this is, you might argue with me, and I hope you do, because I love this. If he gets 20 wins, per se, and a Sweet 16, he's coming back next year. Sorry. I am sorry to tell you this. But he will be back next year. If he gets Sweet 16, Elite 8 maybe, he's coming back. And I hate to tell you all that. But I guarantee he will be back. Mark it down. What day is this? May the 5th, 9:09. If he gets to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, I'm throwing Elite 8 in there as my asterisk. He's coming back next year. Mark my words. I'm trying to tell y'all. Sweet 16 is guaranteed. I guarantee it, guys. And trust me, I'm right there with you. I don't think he should. But if he gets to a Sweet 16, he is coming back. He's coming back. Yeah, his substitution pattern was baffling. It was. I hate to keep saying this crap, but as a coach, I was just like, what are you doing? Why are you putting him in? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And that's just, and to be honest, guys, to be all the way fair, you could say that about any coach, to be honest. To be all the way honest, you could watch a game sitting there and literally critique any and everything. I'm not in his shoes, so I don't know what the scheme of the game would be, but I can see that in certain times the pressure got to him because he didn't have a backup plan. And I'm starting to kind of see that with Pope. He's kind of one of those guys that put all eggs in one basket and doesn't have any other baskets. I'm starting to see that he's kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? We would be happy with the Sweet 16. Okay. Now, Tim is right in this case. Robert, Tim is right in this case because with this roster constructed, getting to a Sweet 16, fans are going to love it. Now, not every fan's going to love it, but the higher ups are going. You know what I'm saying? I believe that. No way. Not with 15 or 10 in the tournament. Won't even matter unless he makes it later. There's no chance of that. He throws Depot's in. Oh, hey, I swear to God. Hey, all Hail Marys. That's all it is. All haymakers and Hail Marys. I totally agree with that. There's no in-betweens. There's no post routes. There's nothing of that. Hey, go deep. Go deep. Now I'm ready. Getting to the tournament would be a success with this. I'm with you. Getting to the Sweet 16 is a success. And if you get to the Elite 8, that's in. Guys, we're just throwing hypotheticals out there. It's one game away from the Final Four. But let's go to the opposite side, guys. Let's definitely go to the opposite side. If he loses in the first round, second round, I think he's gone. I think that's the end all be all. If he loses first round, second round, he's gone. Because legitimately, you're getting worse by the year. First round, you're getting worse by the year. Second round, you didn't improve. You kind of stay in the same. So yes, I agree with that. Right. I think if we get 16, he will be back. He'll be back. Fire him down. You don't get this. Robert. Robert. Being nice. No, I'm with you though. I'm with you. I don't think firing. We don't have an AD to hire anybody. I get what you're saying though. Do you think the guys don't understand his system, or is it bad? I think last year was bad chemistry. I just think last year was a bad nucleus of players, and with a coach that didn't know what to do with them. That's just my thought. I don't think he knew. He has a scheme, and that scheme didn't work for that team, and he didn't know how to adjust. Okay. All right, guys. I really don't see a world where they make it. No, go to score. No. Whoa, John. Whoa, now, John. I think Alex is going to be your guy. Not your guy. I mean, I think he's a lot better than what people think. He's a lot better. I'm going out on the limb. I did a deep dive watching him. I really believe that he's going to be that scorer. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to be the end all be all, but I think he's going to be the one that's going to be getting the buckets at times. You're going to be surprised. I really believe that. I believe that he's going to be the guy that's going to be the one that's going to take a leap. I believe that. Now, you ain't got to take my word for it. We'll see when the season happens, but I kind of see what you're saying. The look on his face. Okay. So the KSR fan base came after me after they'll take a shot. Cam Williams is not the answer. He plays off. Did he okay. Does he take plays off, or did he was just tired of the BS that was going on? You kind of gotta think of it both ways. You're right. But so me and the KSR fan base kind of got Matt Jones got the KSR fan base riled up on me. So when Ortega hit the shot to win, I asked him specifically. He was happy. I was just like, hey, listen, why are we getting so hype on a team to beat a team that we should have beat by 50 and relying on the shot? Then he told me, you can't be happy, leave the fan base, respectfully shut up and all that bullshit. Okay? Yeah, that's what he said. Then I had all the KSR fan base come after me. Now, what I explained to the KSR fan base was, I have no problem with the shot. The shot is arguably one of the top 4 greatest NCAA shots in Kentucky. What I thought was the worst part was this masked the fact that Mark Pope can't coach. This masks the fact that Mark Pope can't really coach because he relied on Ortega to shoot these amazing shots, and I don't call it lucky. I don't. It is what it is. He relied on him to bail him out for Mark's success. There's no way we should be able to, there's no way that that team shouldn't have beat that team by 50. There's no way. You had the height advantage. You used the height advantage. Everyone saw it. But instead, we had to rely on, I'll take a 40-foot shot. And that just masked the fact that Mark Pope folded under the pressure, and Ortega literally willed them to victory. Now, was it an amazing shot? Yes, amazing shot, top four. And then I had to explain that to the KSR fan base. I don't mean that it isn't a good shot. And, after, I literally had probably 500 replies. And I replied to damn near all of them. And after me and them talked, I gave them my side, they gave them their side, and they was like, well, yeah, I guess you're right about some things. Some right, some wrong, It ain't all about being right, but it masked the fact that my main question with them was, if you was a coach, would you have let this team would you have let this happen? No. Never won NC until he came to Kentucky, and it wasn't the best hire yet. It wasn't the best hire, but I'll throw something back to everybody. If it wasn't the best hire, and we know Mark Pope would have ran to Kentucky if he was told to. We know that. We know Mark Pope would have ran to Kentucky if Mitch would have said, "Hey, listen, I want you to run to Kentucky from Utah. I want you to run to Kentucky." He would have done it. He would definitely have done it. Why couldn't we wait for a couple weeks to see what else was out there? You know what I'm saying? Why couldn't we have waited a couple weeks just to see? Not saying there was anybody else that was going to be out there, but if you know Mark Pope is going to be here, then why not? You can wait a couple weeks just to see panic hire 100%. Now, if it's true that, this is speculation, all speculation, big word, speculation. If this is true, and this was a hire to fan the flames of some other scandal that was going on, hey, it is what it is. Think about it. What other scandal was going on during this hire that was going crazy? Now, I guess I would say allegations. I don't know. I don't know all about what was going on in that situation, so I don't want to be disrespectful. But still don't. Yeah, I don't know, so I don't want to be disrespectful one bit. I really don't want to be disrespectful because I don't know all the details. So why not hire this squeaky clean guy that there's no chance of anything happening? That's why you didn't want to hire Bruce Pearl. That's why you didn't want to hire Sean Miller and all them. That's why you didn't want to hire them. So now that you do that and you got this squeaky clean guy, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't that, but to them it was though. I understand, Robert. I totally understand. But to them it kind of was. That's why they wanted to hire this guy. So you could put that into effect. It's just but y'all are right. It was a panic hire. You wait 2 weeks, you see what happens, and then you go from there. Shaka Smart has pretty much. You got Shaka. I like Shaka. I love Shaka since VCU. Would he have fit the Kentucky, theme, the Kentucky, aura? No. But would you have brought him in? I would say no. I just like Shaka. He's proven. At least he's proven. No matter what you say about Shaka, at least he has won in the NCAA. You at least got to give him that. He's won in the NCAA. Now, would he have fit in Kentucky? Probably not. I don't think he would have fit. But I think we could have waited 2 weeks and we would have been perfectly fine waiting 2 weeks. But it was a panic hire. We wanted to get someone here quick. We wanted to get good publicity for the university. So we hired Mark Pope. Year one, it worked out perfectly. Like we went to the Sweet 16. We're moving and grooving. Year two, it went down. Now this is a make or break year for him. This is literally a make or break year. John Lucas, next coach. Yep. Guys, as much as I would like to say yes or no, as much as I would like for that to happen, What if the AD says no? What if the AD says, I don't want to hire that? I don't want to hire him. I don't want to hire a guy that, how old is he? Hold up. How old is Jay Lucas? 37? Okay. I was gonna say, I don't want to. What if I don't want to hire a guy that's under 40? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't. You don't know what that AD is going to think. I think that is going to be an amazing hire. If it was to happen, I think that would be an amazing hire. You're going to get plenty of recruits. You're right. You have plenty of recruits. He'd bring players in from Miami with him here. Yeah, but what is his recruiting class? Hold up. He's doing it. I love what he's doing down there. And that is a name to look at, but it's like I said, it just depends. It depends on what the AD wants. Need those times of aspect. He took a couple players from us in the portal. Shoot. BYU took a couple players from us. It's bad. It's bad. Guys, this has been fun. Thank you all. This has been amazing. I will be back Saturday. Yeah, Saturday at 12. So what we're doing every Tuesday and every Saturday now, from 7 to roughly 9ish, 7 to 9ish. Marshall took play. Heck, hey, I'll take a player from everybody. What if Lucas don't want to come and likes building his team? You're right. Who says Lucas wants to come here? Now, I'll wait a couple seconds. That's a great topic. What if Kentucky isn't the landing spot for head coaches anymore? What if Lucas is like, you know what? Nah, I'm good. Tim, thank you so much for the follow. What if he's like, I don't want to come up there. I'm good. What if he has the sour taste of what happened when Cal was here? Thank you so much for the follow. What we don't know. Crafts already reached out to him, I heard. Shoot. Reaching out and actually landing. It's great to do a filler. You know what I'm saying? It's great to see, hey, what you thinking? You never know. That's BS. UK is the only school where 5 different coaches won that. Okay. Let me ask you this. If UK is such the allure that we think it is, and Robert, I'm going to hit you with something. Why was it so hard to get a coach here? Why was it so hard that people turned the job down? Now, do I believe this is the greatest coaching job in college sports? Yes, I totally agree with that. I think this would be amazing. Hey, if it was so much of a great school, they would have came. No matter what, they would have dropped their whatever to come here. And it's a hard reality. It really is. I believe this is the greatest college ever. I believe that with everything. And I don't disagree with anything about how prestigious this college program is. But if it was such a big, attraction, people would have came. But right now, it isn't. As of right now, it just isn't until we get that one coach like a Lucas. Let's just say Lucas comes here and transforms the program. We're still living in 1985 days. We're still living in the past. We saw Mitch Barnhart barely want to do NIL. But I totally understand what you're saying, though. It is Kentucky. No, I can't say it's Kentucky. I can't. It's always going to be. It's still always going to be a top 3 school in the country, no matter what. Views, money, whatever. It's always going to be that. There's no reality that it isn't going to be under 3. Now we can talk about, is it still a blue blood? We can talk about that, but until I said, no matter what, it's still the number one attraction. It's hard now with NIL. I'll give you that, but UNC just hired their 100% into the 100%, Robert. 100%. Barhart wanted to save face and not get declined another. I totally agree. Money is an issue. Kids. The issue lies between the people wanting to give money and Barhart. Yeah, so that's why I say, Robert, I totally agree. That's why I totally say we won't know what direction the athletic department is going until we find out who the next AD is. Once we find out who the AD is, then we can really navigate what is going to go on. Then we got to see what's happening with Pope. Does Pope poop the bed? Does Pope actually go to the Sweet 16? We don't know. So once all those dominoes fall, which is a lot, we will be able to see which way we can navigate to being able to either hire, a new fresh face, which would be Lucas, or do we hire somebody else? We would have to see, and that's a lot. That's a lot. But yeah, read again. Pope's going to 16 is the worst scenario for David. Hey, listen. I'm not. If we really think about this, if Pope does go to the Sweet 16, imagine how crazy this fan base is going to be. Imagine how crazy the fan base is going to be if he goes to the Sweet 16. That's changed a lot of college sports. No more blue bloods. It's all about the green. Yeah, no, you're right. It's not about what's on the front. It's what's on the back. And I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. But guys, I'm hopping off here. Hey, thank you all so much again. If you want, I've just started the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, it is a link in the bio on my profile. We'll talk about all things sports. I'm on there all the time. We just got it started. So if you want to do that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back Sunday at 12 o'clock. If there isn't too much news, I'm trying to get on give one of my former this athletic director on to talk about the NIL and stuff like that, guys. So hey, thank y'all so much for everything. I love you all. Again, thank you all for everything. I'll see y'all Sunday. Peace.